Hey, Dodgers fans. Today we have some fascinating developments surrounding Los Angeles. And if you thought the offseason was quiet, think again. We are seeing some surprising chatter in the baseball world, and it involves none other than Teoscar Hernandez. Now, for those keeping track, the Dodgers' outfield situation has already been a topic of conversation for months. But this latest news came out of absolutely nowhere, catching a lot of fans and analysts off guard. Teoscar Hernandez was not supposed to be on anyone's radar for trade discussions, and yet here we are. Rumors are swirling, reports are coming in, and while nothing is official, the mere mention of his name has sparked countless debates across social media, sports forums, and in baseball news circles. The interesting part about this situation is that it isn't entirely clear whether the Dodgers are actively exploring moving Hernandez or if other teams are the ones initiating contact. Trade discussions can be a delicate dance, and sometimes just hearing your name thrown into the mix can cause fans to panic or get excited prematurely. From what insiders are reporting, it appears the Dodgers are mostly listening rather than actively seeking to move Teoscar. That means offers might be coming in from other clubs curious about what could be possible if Hernandez became available. Teams that are looking for outfield help or a potential designated hitter have reportedly expressed interest. And that's where things get intriguing. On one hand, you have a player who has been a solid contributor to back-to-back championship runs. On the other, Hernandez's defensive abilities have shown some decline, making his position in the outfield somewhat challenging if the Dodgers are aiming for maximum efficiency in the field. What makes this scenario particularly compelling is how it intersects with the Dodgers' current lineup. Shohei Ohtani holds the full-time designated hitter role, meaning Teoscar's opportunities in that spot are limited. Essentially, if the Dodgers were to retain him without making adjustments elsewhere, he would end up sitting on the bench more often than not, or be forced to take reps in left field, which has historically not been his strongest position. That limitation is exactly why the trade conversations are gaining traction. If a team comes forward with an offer that the Dodgers cannot refuse, it could create a scenario where Hernandez moves to another team, allowing the Dodgers to address other needs in the outfield, or even bring in new talent that better complements their roster. One of the teams mentioned in these discussions is the Boston Red Sox. While it may sound surprising at first, there's a certain logic to it. Boston is reportedly looking for additional offensive production, potentially a couple of bats, to add depth to their lineup, and Teoscar could theoretically fit into that equation. Yet, there are complications. The Red Sox already have a fairly full outfield roster, and integrating Hernandez into that mix would require some creative maneuvering. He could serve as a designated hitter there, but that is a role he cannot fully embrace long-term, which raises questions about how sustainable the fit would be for Boston. From the Dodgers' perspective, however, the mere fact that there is interest allows them to gauge what they might receive in return and whether the trade could help them strengthen areas of the team that are currently under pressure. Another key point in this entire situation revolves around the Dodgers' outfield depth. If Hernandez were to be traded, it would likely necessitate bringing in at least one, possibly two new outfielders, whether through free agency or another trade. That makes the scenario complicated, because while Hernandez has limitations in defense, he is still a very productive hitter, and any trade would need to balance his offensive contributions against the potential gains of bringing in new players. Dodgers management would have to carefully weigh whether giving up a proven bat is worth the chance to improve overall defense and roster balance, or if keeping Hernandez and managing his role strategically is the smarter move. For fans, it's a tricky spot to be in. On one hand, Hernandez has been a key part of recent championship success, contributing significantly with his bat and clutch performances. On the other hand, the team's long-term outlook demands careful attention to positional needs and defensive reliability. The notion of trading a player of Hernandez's caliber is always going to be polarizing. Supporters of making a deal argue that it could allow the Dodgers to bring in two players who can perform more consistently in the field, while still maintaining strong offensive production. Critics point out that Hernandez's contributions cannot be understated, and trading him without receiving an outstanding return would be a major risk. What makes this conversation even more dynamic is the unpredictability of trade negotiations. Just because a team shows interest or an offer is made does not mean a trade will happen, and sometimes the discussion itself can influence other moves. Teams may test the waters to see what kind of package might be required to acquire a player like Hernandez. If a compelling enough deal emerges, whether from Boston or another team, Dodgers management might be tempted to pull the trigger. But if the offers aren't strong enough, or if the team believes Hernandez still has value in Los Angeles, it is entirely possible that he remains part of the roster, at least for the foreseeable future. Ultimately, this situation shines a spotlight on the challenges of roster construction in Major League Baseball. Balancing talent, positional needs, and potential trades requires constant evaluation, and players like Teoscar Hernandez sit at the center of these complex decisions. Fans will be watching closely, analyzing every rumor, every report, and every insider comment to try and predict the next move. Whether Hernandez stays or goes, the Dodgers' strategy this offseason will have lasting implications for the team's depth, flexibility, and championship aspirations. Even more than the numbers, stats, and trade rumors, this scenario highlights the human element of baseball. Hernandez has been a staple in the Dodgers lineup, and his presence in the clubhouse and on the field has helped shape team culture. Decisions about his future aren't purely analytical. They involve judgment calls, timing, and assessing how the team can maximize its overall potential. Watching how this plays out will be fascinating, as each piece of news or update can shift the perception of what the Dodgers front office intends to do. For now, the key takeaway is that Teoscar Hernandez has unexpectedly become a focal point in trade discussions, and his future may not be as settled as fans once assumed. The Dodgers are evaluating options, other teams are exploring possibilities, and the offseason chess game is fully underway. Whether the Dodgers make a move or retain Hernandez, the ongoing dialogue surrounding his role emphasizes the delicate balancing act of keeping a championship-caliber roster while also adapting to evolving team needs. Picking up where we left off, let's dig deeper into what a potential move involving Teoscar Hernandez could mean for the Dodgers and the wider MLB landscape. One of the biggest considerations here is roster flexibility. The Dodgers have long been known for their strategic approach to building a team, balancing star power with depth and versatility. Hernandez, with his potent bat but declining defense, sits at the intersection of these two factors. If he were moved, the Dodgers would suddenly have a significant gap to fill, but that gap could also provide an opportunity to bring in players who better fit their long-term vision. The challenge, of course, lies in identifying talent that can match Hernandez's offensive output while providing the defensive stability that the Dodgers increasingly need in their outfield. It is also worth noting how timing plays into these trade considerations. The MLB offseason is a fluid, fast-moving environment. Teams are constantly evaluating prospects, free agents, and potential trade packages, and the window to strike the right deal can be very narrow. For the Dodgers, if a top-tier offer comes in for Hernandez, they would need to act decisively. Otherwise, they risk the market cooling, interest fading, or the player being snapped up by a competitor. This makes the decision-making process incredibly complex because it isn't just about whether a trade makes sense in theory. It's about whether it makes sense in the moment. Timing, leverage, and strategic positioning all become critical components in evaluating any trade proposal involving a player of Hernandez's caliber. Another element to consider is how this potential trade could impact clubhouse dynamics. Teoscar Hernandez has been part of a winning culture in Los Angeles, and the team's chemistry has been a huge factor in their consecutive championship runs. Moving a player who has been an integral part of that environment could have ripple effects beyond the numbers. For managers and front office executives, this isn't just a matter of stats or contracts. It's also about leadership, morale, and the intangible qualities a player brings to the locker room. While baseball is undeniably a numbers-driven sport, these human factors are often what separate a good team from a championship team. The Dodgers will need to weigh the potential loss of Hernandez's presence on and off the field against the possible gains from acquiring new talent. On the other side of the coin, let's think about the team or teams that could potentially acquire Hernandez. For an organization like the Boston Red Sox, or any team seeking a significant offensive boost, adding a bat like Hernandez could be enticing. His ability to contribute consistently with the stick makes him a valuable asset, even if his defensive range is limited. For a team looking to solidify a designated hitter role or add depth to the lineup, he represents a potential solution. Yet, as with the Dodgers, they too would need to assess the full picture, how Hernandez fits within their existing outfield, whether his defensive limitations can be mitigated, and whether the cost of acquiring him justifies the potential benefit. This dual-sided evaluation is what makes trade discussions so fascinating and unpredictable. Both parties must see tangible value and alignment with their respective strategies. Adding to the intrigue is the question of what the Dodgers could realistically receive in return for Hernandez. Top-tier prospects, a combination of established players, or even financial considerations could factor into the mix. The Dodgers have the luxury of a strong scouting department and a keen understanding of player value, which gives them leverage in any negotiation. However, extracting maximum value isn't always straightforward. The market for a player like Hernandez is nuanced. He is desirable because of his offensive talent, but teams must also weigh his defensive struggles and the limited opportunities at the designated hitter role in certain lineups. That delicate balance creates a scenario where offers may vary widely, and the Dodgers front office will need to carefully assess whether any proposed deal truly strengthens the roster. From a fan's perspective, this period can be both exciting and nerve-wracking. Discussions about trading a key contributor often spark debates, with opinions ranging from full support to complete opposition. Many fans recognize Hernandez's offensive contributions and may feel uneasy at the prospect of seeing him leave Los Angeles. Others understand the strategic reasoning behind potentially moving him, particularly if it opens the door to acquiring multiple players who can contribute more effectively in the field. These conversations are an integral part of the baseball offseason experience, and the speculation, analysis, and debate only heighten the anticipation as teams make decisions that could define the upcoming season. It is also interesting to consider how a Hernandez trade fits into broader team-building philosophies. The Dodgers have often emphasized flexibility, depth, and adaptability. By exploring trade options, they signal that they are actively evaluating every avenue to strengthen the team. Whether it's addressing outfield depth, shoring up defensive capabilities, or balancing offensive production across the lineup, these decisions reflect a commitment to maintaining a championship-caliber roster. Moving a player of Hernandez's stature isn't about simply shedding salary or making a shakeup. It's about strategic roster management aimed at sustaining long-term competitiveness. Moreover, potential trades like this highlight the evolving nature of baseball analytics. Teams now have access to unprecedented amounts of data, from defensive metrics to advanced batting statistics, which heavily influence decision-making. Hernandez's defensive decline, for example, is not merely anecdotal. It's supported by data that demonstrates shifts in fielding efficiency, range, and overall impact on run prevention. Similarly, his offensive performance is measured in detail, examining not just traditional metrics like batting average and home runs, but also on-base percentage, slugging, and situational effectiveness. These insights allow front offices to make more informed choices, though human judgment and strategic context remain equally critical in final decisions. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. Whispers around Major League Baseball have suddenly erupted into a roar, and all eyes are now on Los Angeles. Could the Dodgers be on the verge of a seismic shift in their lineup? The latest buzz suggests that Kyle Tucker, the Astros' feared slugger, might be swapping the orange and navy for Dodger blue in what insiders are calling a record-breaking agreement. Sources hint that the deal is unlike anything the league has ever seen, sparking speculation that it could redefine the power dynamics of the National League. For years, Tucker has been synonymous with explosive offense, his bat capable of turning any pitch into a highlight reel moment. Imagine pairing that firepower with the Dodgers' already formidable roster, a team that has mastered both pitching depth and offensive versatility. The rumor alone has already sent fans into a frenzy, with social media lighting up with mock lineups, speculative trade packages, and endless what-if scenarios. Analysts are quietly admitting that if this deal comes to fruition, the Dodgers could suddenly be the team everyone fears to face in late innings. Insiders describe the negotiation as intense, with multiple teams reportedly circling Tucker like sharks. Yet, the Dodgers are said to have gone all in, offering a package that could include top prospects and significant financial commitment. If true, this wouldn't just be a headline-grabbing signing. It could be a statement of intent. Los Angeles seems determined to send a message. They're not just building a contender. They're assembling a force capable of dominating for years to come. Meanwhile, the baseball world watches with bated breath. Tucker's presence alone would electrify any stadium, and rumors suggest Dodgers fans are already planning how to welcome their potential new superstar. Questions abound. How will he fit into the lineup? Which pitcher will dare to challenge him? Could this be the missing piece that finally cements the Dodgers' long-term supremacy? For now, it's all speculation, whispers in a locker room, and clandestine meetings behind closed doors. But if these murmurs hold any weight, the Dodgers' offensive blueprint is about to explode, and Kyle Tucker might just be the spark that ignites it. One thing is certain, baseball's rumor mill has never been hotter. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.